To 2025. This is the first podcast episode of the new year, and we're in the new space. How cool is this? So welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff. I am the owner of the Modern Skein, and we have just moved and officially opened. It's been a wild few weeks, but we are open in our new location, 1909 Longmire Rd, Suite H4 in Conroe, Texas, 77304. So all of the details will be down in the comment section, of course, but we are here. It's so exciting, so happy to be in this new space. It is an amazing space, and there's so much room, you guys. It is much larger. We have so much more room for yarn. We have so much more yarn out. This is just a little bit of it behind me, and yeah, so much room for possibilities. So exciting. So with that being said, we are officially open. We are open now at the new location. We're of course closed completely at the old place. We are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we have another day that we are open and extended hours. And then every second and fourth Thursday of the month, we have our late night make-along. I hesitate to use Maker's Night because so many people are using Maker's Night, and I don't want to necessarily steal it from them. Several of my friends are using Maker's Night. I've always called it late night sit and stitch, but we're not just limited to stitching. So knit, crochet, spin, weave, we have all the room for you guys to bring your floor looms even. Obviously, if it can fit in your car, it can fit in here. And yeah, I mean, if you want to, we don't have cross-stitch supplies, but if you want to bring cross-stitch, you certainly can. We've had that before. So come on down, join us for one of our late nights. We're open till 8 on the second and fourth, Thursday of each month. And we're going to have special events and all the things. So while we are open now, we are going to have our grand reopening celebration February 1st, which is a Saturday. We're also going to have some fun things January 31st. So you'll want to come out. We have Ross from Twisted Ambitions driving down from Oklahoma, and he is bringing so much yarn. He literally sent me an email this morning, and he's like, there's so much yarn. Like, for real, so much yarn. Do you have room? And I'm like, yes, we do. So all the yarn from Ross of Twisted Ambitions. We're also getting a mail-in trunk show from Ethan of Refracted Knits. He has a lot of, so if you've seen Twisted Ambitions, it's bright, it's colorful, it's splashy, it's fun, it's happy yarn. Speckles, variegated, all the things. Bright, juicy colors. Ethan is very subdued, rich, soft, even in his color palette. A lot of his colors are naturally dyed. A lot of inspiration from Lord of the Rings. So just a very elvish quality to his yarns. So that'll be really fun to have two different trunk shows in the shop at the same time. And yeah, so we're gonna have a special Friday night late night. Excuse me, I have mohair or something on my nose. Friday night late night sit and stitch till 8 on the 31st. Ross will be here, kind of helping co-host that special sit and stitch. And I'm sure we can twist his arm to sell some of his skeins of yarns then. And then, of course, the big celebration on February 1st. We're going to have some cake. We're going to have beverages. Should have some custom colorways in the shop by then. just saying. We have 3 different dyers working on custom colorways for the shop right now, and I've seen one of the prototypes. It's so good. So good. So good. So that one should be in. I'll let you in on a secret. It'll be Suburban Stitcher. And that one should be in for the grand opening. What else? There's just so many new things going on. Now that we're in the new space, most of our deliveries will start coming in a more regular fashion. So if you've been waiting on something, or I've been saying it'll be coming after the new year, it'll be coming after the new year, now you know what I mean. Because we couldn't handle anything else at that old location. So fabulous. Thank you, everyone, that helped out in one way or another, whether it be with permitting, moving, all the things. We greatly appreciate all your love and support through this time. If you placed an order with us during our time of having to be closed much longer than anticipated, I do really appreciate it. It kept my sanity going, that's for sure. So let's get into what we have finished. So needless to say, whether it was wanted rust or not, pause. We were going to be closed anyway before the whole move thing came about for a week between Christmas and New Year, just to have some break time. We have some family Christmases that we haven't been able to go to in a while. I wanted to be able to give my employees a nice Christmas break, and it turned out everyone needed it. Not sure that everyone got as much rest as they were hoping for. Obviously us with trying to move everything out of the shop before the lease was up and everything. And then we still had those family Christmases to go to, and then just all sorts of things, and the stress of thinking we were going to be open on the 3rd and not being able to be open and all the stuff. So I either didn't knit for days at a time, or I knit like a maniac and power knit so much. I also realized I have not recorded a podcast since I guess right before Thanksgiving. I need to look. I think it got posted after Thanksgiving. I wonder if that got posted. I'm sure it did. Anyway, it's been a hot minute since you've seen me on YouTube. So I have quite a few finished objects, including what I'm wearing, which I forgot to say, grab a beverage. You're gonna need it. This is gonna be a long episode. So this is my finished test knit. This pattern has now come out. Scoot back here. So this is the Mozart by Caitlin Hunter. As you can see, she did wear hers a little bit more oversized. I have a solid like 4 inches of positive ease, so not too much. I also didn't aggressively block it. I could have blocked it out even more, but I didn't. I did the balloon sleeve. Now, I will say there is a change that they made to the pattern after us test knitters were done. So you can see how in this decreases the cables were continued into the sleeve. For whatever reason, they decided to eliminate that. And so once you stop here, it's just ribbing. And I don't know, I don't like it as much. I like what I did. But I just continued the cables at the same rate going down. And I think it's really cute. Let's see what else. So this is, okay, as far as gauge, it's a 16 stitch gauge in pattern. The yarn she used was discontinued. It was billed as a Aran. She thinks it's a DK. That being said, she asked for everyone to use worsted. Some people used a DK, some people used worsted, some people used bulky. The bulky one, I used a worsted weight. I'll say a pretty true worsted weight. I think it looks great. I love it. That being said, I know several yarns that I personally love at a 16 stitch gauge that are DK, like actually like Arbor, Double Sunday, and Yorkshire DK all do fabulous at a 16 stitch gauge, especially for down here. If you're up north, you might want more of a denser 16 stitch gauge, but I think for this, because it has these lace, it would totally be great. The yarn that I'm using is not out yet. It is coming March. It is Red Stag, and it is a worsted weight. And this color is Moray Firth, and we will be getting it in, but not till March. So if you want this exact yarn, you'll have to hold your horses and get it in March. If you want to cast this sweater on now, I'd recommend, like I said, Double Sunday, Yorkshire DK. You could use Shelter if you want a worsted weight, obviously, Rios, all sorts of options. Come in and we'll help you, or send me a message and we can help you pick out a yarn. So this is the Mozart by Caitlin Hunter, and it is one of my finished objects. Now to something, buckle your seatbelt here, because y'all know I don't knit socks, but I knit socks. So I joined in the, what does she call it? The Andrea Mowry over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, long weekend, sock, whatever. So this are the Oxbow socks from Andrea Mowry, and I just did a mismatched pair. So I had 2 single skeins of Spincycle. This is Reykjavik, and this was a skein I picked up at Flock earlier this year. It's a Nocturne, so it's their gray base. They don't wholesale it, but it's basically the dark version of Reykjavik. And so I just alternated what's my main body, and I love it. Super cute. So they're like house sock slippers for me on the rare occasion, like this weekend, where it's freezing cold and we do have tile in our house. These are handy, but they also make a great shop sample. So Oxbow socks, I will say I enjoyed knitting it, and the pattern was nice, and it kept me motivated to finish these socks, even though I'm not a sock knitter. So I do recommend it if you're maybe unsure of socks. It's a great pattern to test it out and see if it might be something up your alley. Put those there. Then, also with the cold weather coming in and the Plump Along that Spincycle was hosting, I knit the Plump It Up. Oh, did I say Oxbow by Andrea Mowry? I knit the Plump It Up, I think that's it, by Andrea Mowry, which is basically the plump version, or the bulky weight version of her Harlow hat. So it's a brioche, what do you call it? 2-color Italian cast on, tubular cast on. I used a skein of Strawflower in Plump that I had, and then a skein of Brooklyn Tweed Arbor Lodge for the inside color. You can see there. I also like it kind of cuffed up because I'm not into the pointy hat thing. So if you wear it like Andrea, also brioche stretched out, she wears it like this in all of her pictures, and that's just not me. So this is more how I would wear it myself personally, if I were to wear a hat, which I rarely wear a hat. But it's a cute sample. It's a great brioche if you're new to brioche or want to just practice those brioche skills, because there's no increases, just some decreases. Her patterns are really great, and she includes great tutorials for those brioche bits. I don't remember if I said it, but this is the colorway Burnished in Arbor Lodge. So we have that, and we do have a few skeins of Plump, very few, because with the Plump It Up, they all sold out, and we were kind of low anyway. we should be getting a new batch of Spincycle at the end of this month, so fingers crossed we do. I don't know that there'll be any Plump on it though, but the slightly anemic looking Spincycle wall will get zhuzhed back up. So, Plump It Up by Andrea Mowry. That's finished object 3, if we're keeping count. Again, I haven't podcasted in a while. Let me do this in order. So then the other thing I finished last year, because all of those were last year's finished objects, was my Nebula, another Andrea Mowry pattern. So if you recall, I got this yarn at our Lavender Lune. Well, no, I didn't get it at our Lavender Lune. We had Sam of Lavender Lune have a trunk show at the shop. This is yarn I picked up from her booth at DFW, but it's her whipped bulky base. I love it. It is like a DK to bulky, one of those morphing yarns, and it's just perfect for the Nebula. So I knit the Nebula basically to pattern. The sleeves are a smidgen on the short side for me, and I actually knit those longer than what she says. So, I don't know, kind of odd. I usually don't have that problem. And I knit fairly oversized. So this is like I knit the smallest. I can't remember now if I knit the size 1 or the smallest size or the second smallest size. But finished bust wise, I've got, I think, around 40, 41 inches around, and I'm at 35 on a good day. So plenty of positive ease for me. I think she actually calls for 12 inches positive ease, and just, that's not. I have a few things that are that much positive ease, and I don't like how I look in them. That's just a me thing. Colorway, if you're looking for that, is Norway Lake. I would suggest going to Lavender Lune's website, because we don't have anything quite the same. A good alternative to that yarn would be something like a Snefnug by Conroe, Woolfolk Luft, something along those lines. I think Drops Air, maybe, if you could get those. We don't stock any of those. That being said, Fluff by Les Garcons, you could definitely attempt it by itself. See if you like the gauge. I don't recall the gauge off the top of my head for the Nebula. It's either like somewhere between like 14 and 16 stitches. I'm pretty sure. But you could, I don't think you need to hold fluff double. I think if you did fluff and maybe a strand of fingering, or maybe a strand of sport, you could probably get the gauge and get a fuzzy and still fun fabric for you. So, just some ideas. Now, coffee break. So that is finished object 4. And I believe the last thing I finished for 2024. Now this, this is my Grid Gambit by Samantha Guerin. So I cast this on in Les Garcons British DK in Vincent's Island Coup, which we have. You can snag it somewhere over there. And then Spincycle Valley Girl. So Valley Girl has this like electric blue. Then there's a little pink. And the skein I had a little yellow. I would say most of the ones we have are just like pink and blue. But I love it. So the pattern was really nice for kind of a good vacation knit. Show you. It's done in the same kind of style as, say, like the shift cowl, where you make a triangle and seam it up the back. So you have less bulk at the back of the neck, but still enough to keep you warm. Tucks under a coat really nicely. I love it. Several of you guys have been knitting them in different DKs and Spincycles, and they look so good. So this was my first finished object of 2025. And then my second finished object of 2025, because I am bound and determined to make it through some of my whips. And the rest of the whips I didn't want to finish, I ripped out. I finally finished, y'all. If you've been watching for a while, this has been on the needles for a long time, and it shouldn't have been. I finished my 2-in-1 bandana by Max the Knitter. So, you can wear it like this, so where you have one side predominantly showing, or you can wear it to where you have the other side predominantly showing, or you can not fold it and have both. Lots of different ways. I mean, if you're the kind of person that likes a head wrap, you could do that. See, I think I immediately look like somebody's babushka when I do this, but that's just me. It's probably because I have long hair. But it's a really fun, kind of it's not really a broken rib, but kind of like that design. Scarf, shawlette, not just a shawlette. I mean, it does get a bit wide, but more of a scarf bandana style. And it is intarsia, so you work half the stitches with one color, twist your yarns, and then finish in the other one. So I used a skein of Ritual Dyes Maiden in the colorway Taurus, which has since been discontinued, but we have some other really pretty colors of Maiden available with these light speckles. And then this was left over from another store sample that we've made. This is BFL sock from Garcons in the colorway Nick's Current Obsession. Beautiful. And this just makes a great, you could also, I like this, if it's really cold, like this weekend, you could just do this, keep it kind of cinched up around your neck. Lots of different ways you can wear it. You could also tie this around like your beach bag. I love tying like around a basket or a beach bag, a little like Sophie scarf or like I've got up there, something like this, just for a little flair, little personality. Plus then if you are out and about and you're like, oh, just got a little chill, I mean, this, you can spread ever so slightly around your shoulders. Little tiny bit of warmth. If you're out at the beach, it'd be perfect if you go into like a restaurant and it's freezing cold. So again, this is the 2-in-1 bandana by Max the Knitter. So that's 4, 5. This was finished object 6 since the last podcast. Phew. Didn't realize I'd actually finished so much. I feel like I finished a lot, and then I feel like I didn't finish a lot. So that's just me. I have another whip to show you. Let me go grab that real quick. Enjoy the background. And then we're back. So I had been hinting that I had been working on this. Did I finish it in time? No. But I had been hinting that I'd been working on a secret project that I couldn't share because the recipient of the project would be watching. The recipient would be none other than my husband, Josh Graff, who edits my podcasts. So I could not share what I was doing. But I was knitting him a birthday present. Did I get it finished in time? No. Have I been working on it as much as I should have? Also no. But I'm going to show you. I just have 1.5 sleeves left. That's the back. Ta-da! So this is a yoked sweater. As you can see, this is by Max the Knitter. The name of the pattern is in French, and I don't remember it, but it is little stag heads with a bow tie, and so I did them in red for red stag, and then it's just so cute. So this is all done in Yorkshire DK. The pattern is entirely in French, by the way. It is by Max the Knitter, but it was in a book, La Enfant de something or other. De Line? La Enfant de Line. I think it's like the joy of knitting, I think is what it translates to. I could be totally wrong. Google Translate butchered trying to translate the pattern, but I figured it out for the most part. So I've got, for the main background color here is Aberdeenshire. The antlers and the bow tie are antique leather. The little stag himself is natural for his little chest and eyes and ears, and then brick tavern for the body. And then these little medallions, and the main body is Welsh mantle. No, a classic. Totally wrong. A classic. So as you can see, I've got a little over half a sleeve done, and I need to pick up for the other sleeve, and then that'll be done. It's been a labor of love, that's for sure, because like I said, the pattern was all in French. Luckily, the stag head was charted, so it was just getting through the first setup rounds and increases till I got to the charted part. Excuse me. And once I got to the charted part, honestly, I kind of freestyled the rest of it. Just kind of how I know Josh likes his sweaters to fit. I've knit a lot of other Max's designs, so I know his general, how he's going to progress the sweater. I made a few modifications as well because Josh doesn't like a lot of extra fabric, and he has one of those like wider shoulder, narrow Superman kind of body shape, so I add decreasing once we separate for sleeves. I don't know if you can see. You can kind of see a little bit. There's decreasing there, so it gets a little more narrow, just so there's not as much fabric as it goes down. I am not alternating skeins on the sleeves. I did do helical knitting on the body. I feel like it shows a little bit, but it's beautiful. He loves it. I did give it to him for his birthday, unfinished, but he does love it. And I am quite pleased with it. And that took up a lot of my knitting time because, especially at the shop, I could only work on it at the shop, and I would power knit through the afternoons, especially if it was slow, just trying to get this thing done. It's a beast. 5 colors, color work. Don't recommend, just saying. It's a lot. Okay, what else? So, for the new year, I decided I want to knit a couple quote-unquote selfish projects. So, patterns that I have had for a while in my library that I've wanted to knit, but I wanted to use yarn that I didn't necessarily carry in the shop. And so sometimes I feel bad about doing that, and I've just determined that I'm not going to feel bad about that. And if someone really wants it, they can go buy the same yarn that I have, or we can direct them to a yarn that we have that might be similar or a good substitute. So that being said, I, over Christmas, cast on the Rug Sweater by Junko Otomoto. It is a pattern that's been out for years now. I want to say 2016, 2017, something like that. Maybe it came out, maybe earlier. And I haven't got tons done, but I envisioned this even years ago with a gradient within the color work. And when Spincycle came out with Plump, I guess a few years ago, I knew that was perfect. So I've had this Spincycle Stay Ready in Plump since it came out, and I love it. So it makes the color work a little more subtle, and it's crammed on the needles, and I need to steam it. But I'm going to smooth this out so you can see it a little bit. You can start to see it come through. I love the kind of faded quality that the Spincycle gives to the color work. So it's not so crisp and in your face. It's just kind of like, what's on there? It looks like a vintage sweater that, has faded with sun over time. So the yarns I'm using for the contrast obviously is Spincycle Plump in Stay Ready. And then I'm using from my stash from ages ago, I bought La Mana Como Grande from a supplier that was going to be importing it, and they no longer import it because we were going to carry it for a hot minute, and then they stopped importing it. So it is a German brand, La Mana, and I'm honestly not sure if or where you could get it in the States. So there's that. Colorway, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure they number all their colors. Yeah, here's the ball band. Number 47M, maybe? But it's basically like a taupe, and then with the stay ready. I love it. So good. It's so cozy. The Como Grande is very lightweight for a bulky yarn, so it's not a heavy piece at all, which I like, and I'm super excited. So I've been knitting on this in the evenings and thoroughly enjoying knitting the rug pattern. I also, let me put this down, I'm wearing a black skirt today and it's just attracting all the lint. I also cast on, this was my New Year's cast on, another Junko Otomoto pattern, the Hana sweater, which is done in pieces, but you just continuously knit them. Look how gorgeous this is. It needs a good steam, well, it needs a good wet block, but look at that. So I picked up this yarn. It looks black. It's not. It's navy. I picked this yarn up at Indian Tangled. This is Hudson and West Forge, so it's a worsted weight. Do I have the ball band here? What is the colorway? I think it's Midnight. Yes, Midnight. Is the color. So it's this deep, dark navy, dark navy. So I knit on this mostly during the day when I have good lighting. But look how it's showing those textures so well. So it's basically the Hana, you do these different panels, looks kind of patchworky, which I love. And then I'll sew them all together. And you do like visible seaming, which is really fun. And so I have this colorway also from Hudson and West. I think it's their bourbon colorway, but it kind of is like a wheat bourbon kind of color that's really, really pretty, that you're going to then see on all the visible seams in here, which is going to be super cool. So again, another one of those like thrifted, patchworky kind of sweaters. More like sweatshirt because it's oversized and everything. The rug is just a one size pattern. To my knowledge, she may have added an additional, like a extra large size, I'm not sure, but it's very oversized. And the Hana does have multiple sizes. I'm knitting the small, which is still going to be pretty oversized for me. I think 45 inches bust is the size small. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm enjoying it. And then the last whip that I haven't made much progress on it, but this whip has been around for forever, and I still want the sweater, so I'm going to continue it. This is the balloon sweater by Petite Knit. I have separated, or I've joined in the round, post the sleeves, and just making progress on it. So this is, again, a very dark navy. I just selfishly, I want this sweater in my own personal stash. It is Dacus Sock in Her Majesty's Navy from Red Stag Fibre, and then it's held with Shibui Silk Cloud in the old colorway Noir. Shibui Silk Cloud, of course, went out of business. Now, that being said, Jimmy Beans did buy them, Jimmy Beans, whatever. And so you can get the commercially dyed colors, but they're not quite the same. The yarn is the same. The color, I've seen a couple of them in person. It's not quite the same. But yeah, it's just basically a dark navy mohair. What else? I do still have my Traveler hoodie, which is, I'm going to do the Traveler crew neck. I just did not bring that in my bag because I haven't made that much progress on it. I feel like for whatever reason, I only end up working on it when we're traveling, which is kind of weird. But I do still have that, and I, again, want to knit that, want to finish that. I ripped out, what did I rip out? I've blocked them from my memory now, so I can't even remember. Ripped out my Copenhagen cardigan from ages ago. I guess that was last year's knit along. I ripped out something else that I decided I wasn't going to finish. But it's very freeing at the beginning of the year to go through any languishing whips, and it's like, okay, am I going to finish this? And then make a plan to finish. Set aside time to knit it, chart out, if you're that kind of person, how many inches or rows you need to do every day to get it finished by X time, or spend a minimum of 30 minutes knitting or crocheting or whatever on it. That's the other thing. I did finish my spin of 3/16 wooden duck, and I started knitting a tube. I was going to knit a hat, and then I kind of felt like I wanted to use up more of the yarn, so I haven't quite decided if I'm going to keep knitting that tube into like a cowl or if I'm going to rip it out and knit something else with it. But I do enjoy knitting with my hand spun. That's super fun. Okay, so new things in the shop. I didn't bring the yarn over. Crud. We have new ritual dyes. We have new Red Stag Fibre, Daka sock. We also have the latest issue of Lina magazine. If you didn't get yours yet, grab it. There's lots of really good patterns in here. We also have a few left of the 2025 weekly planner. If you are a calendar person, it's not too late to try to become a calendar person. I've used this now for a week and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There is a full, you can do your daily planning in this, plus you can do craft stuff, take notes about your projects, things like that, and it has in there all sorts of knitting fiber festivals sprinkled throughout. They are missing a few from the States. I did, when they sent out to all their stockists, hey, let us know about any Fiberfest. I told them all about the ones in the US, but they did not put them all in, which is very interesting. But that being said, it is fabulous. And it is in English. There is Swedish and Finnish also in here, but you can totally use it. I love it. And I really like the paper. It's good paper. Doesn't bleed through. Love it. We also have, like I said, ritual dyes. We got in Undine. Let me show you. Let me just show you. Look at that. So this is Ritual Dyes Undine. This is the 60/40 organic cotton and linen. So even though it might be cold here now, this is always a good opportunity to start your spring and summer knitting wardrobe. This is the colorway Hyacinth, which is a new color. This is Dragon Fruit. This is Quartzite. Peony. Oh, that one came undone. We've got Summer Peach. Jewelweed. We've got another bin. Let me put that back on here. Hold on, let me get the other bin. So pretty. Look at this. It's so good. So, it's also so heavy. We have Slate, Siren, which is this beautiful green. This is New Growth. Then we've got One Lone Tiger's Eye left. It's been popular. Forsythia, beautiful for summer. Prairie Flax. We've got Rye, good neutral. And then we also have some natural. So lots of colors available in the Undine. It is a fingering weight. I knit the Hawthorne by Caitlin Hunter in this, and it's fabulous. I also knit Mira by Sasha Hyrie out of the Island Vibes book. That is supposed to be a worsted weight. I just did it in a single strand of Undine because it made it more like a swimsuit cover-up rather than a sweater for me. And it's been fabulous all last year as a swimsuit cover-up. So that being said, we have lots of new on the website, of course in store. The Ritual Dyes Maiden is restocked. We have new colors and restocked old ones like False Indigo, new colors like Loam and was that Bittersweet, I think is one. Green, no, we didn't get green tourmaline in. We got in Rose Gold. We got in, gosh, now I've got mohair in my eye. Blue Black. So if you wanted to knit, or if you liked the colors of my Go-Go Dynamo shawl that I did, that was Blue Black and Lapis Lazuli. We have both of those colors back in stock. And we have Hyacinth, which is the new color. We have Holy Basil, which is fabulous. Portocola back in stock. Sugar Maple back in stock. That went so fast last time. What else? Oh, we just have so many good colors. Desert Sunflower, which is fabulous if you love greens. So all that. We also restocked Yorkshire Sport and Yorkshire DK. Those are restocked. You can see all the Yorkshire DK over here. And then we'll be getting more yarns in over the next few weeks. So definitely tune back in. I will, once we get the last piece of furniture in, which I'm basically sitting where the next piece of furniture is supposed to go, which is next week, then, and we get everything situated, I will do a shop tour and have it posted on here for you guys. I don't know, can you hear the beeping? Okay, so he's tried to keep it down, but fun fact for you, in the back of the shop now is Red Stag Fibre's dye studio. So he is sharing the space with me, and it's fun, but there's little quirks of, what is that? All of a sudden we'll be in the shop, you know, me and Lorraine, or it's mostly been me and Lorraine since they started dyeing yarn in there. It's like, what is that noise? Who's making, what is that? And then it's the dye studio. It's not obtrusive at all. It's just funny. So yes, I don't know if it'll go up in time, but if you are seeing this, he is hosting his warehouse sale here at the shop, or at the warehouse, this Saturday. And we have Sit and Knit, like I said, this Thursday. So it's every second and fourth Thursday of the month. You can come on down and hang out with us. I gotta actually wrap it up and get the shop open. So we'll call it good here today. And I look forward to seeing you. I don't know if I like this setup. The mannequin right behind me is kind of weirding me out, so I might take her down for the podcast, but I kind of like this view of the shop because you get nice, good yarn. There's a few other views we could do, but I like this one. So have a great day, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for bearing with us during all the move and the wait and everything that we've been through, and I hope to see you in the shop soon. Oh, don't forget our grand, I think I mentioned this. Yeah, I did. The grand reopening. Come on down. I hope to see you then. And if not, if you're too far away, we'll see you, of course, always online. We're happy to help you shop over Instagram or text message. Have a great day, guys. Bye.